Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick.
I'm Amanda.
There it goes. Ooh, there was a strong delay on that one. And I'm a little under the weather.
Oh, great.
It's a weird sickness where I haven't been all that sick, but it just keeps lingering and getting stronger. It's like getting concentrated. I don't get it. But here
Those
I
are the
am.
worst. Yeah. So we are 100% remote today. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, we're going through a little bit of a heat wave here in San Diego.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, it's worse for me because my air conditioner is not working right now. Apparently, it is a water source heat pump, which I've never heard of before, but they cost about $10,000 apparently, and they only last 15 years. And this place is 15 years old, so that's what I'm dealing with. Oh yeah, and they can't get the parts for 3 to 4 months. Like I'm going to need them then.
So you're going to repair it or replace it?
If I repair it, like I don't know, I could get maybe a year or two out of it more. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. We'll see. They're going to come out and take another look, but we'll see. So this is actually weird because it reminds me a lot of growing up out in East County where it was blazing hot and I'd sit in my room just in boxers playing video games on the computer. And it's pretty much what I'm doing now, man.
Yeah.
Come full circle.
I've been there, man.
Full circle.
I moved to East County when I was whatever it was, but I had 2 computers because I used to have friends come over, so we would LAN Counter-Strike or whatever. So I had it on a picnic table, no AC. I remember it was so fucking hot out there. Yeah, same thing. Always gaming in my my boxers. But one time I was sleeping, dude. I was passed out after a drunken night. I wake up and ants were in my mouth trying to get moisture for their little colony, dude. Not 1 or 2 ants, like a stream of ants.
Oh God, dude, that's like my nightmare.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. They were delicious, though.
Are you terrified of ants?
No, man. Like one time I was at I used to live with my friends. It was like me and 3 other guys. Mind you, we all were inside of one room playing games with no fucking vent. So like the AC wouldn't hit in there. But what happened one time is we had a party and everything, and we ordered pizza and we just left the pizza on the counter. And I'm Mexican me, I'm like, oh yeah, the pizza's still fine. Let me just pop that bitch in the microwave. And I put it in the microwave, and as soon as it starts, I start hearing popping sounds. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I open the door and nothing's on the pizza or anything. But I look inside the box of and there's just nothing but ants on top of it. And I'm just like, fuck, dude, I almost ate this. Yeah, it was all bad.
I mean, ants are rather tasty. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I don't like them robbing me of my moisture. I'll tell you that. What little there is. East County out here is basically away from the ocean. So that's why it's so goddamn hot. Not to mention the mountains that block any air coming from the ocean, too. It's rough out there, Bobby. That's why you're such a mean bastard, dude. You just grew up on.
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it when I was young. Now, when I go back and visit my parents, I'm like, oh my God, I lived out here? How did I do this? Yeah, I don't like the heat. And when I play video games on my computer, that's really when it gets bad. Because I live downtown, got a cool breeze coming in. It's not too bad. But when I'm sitting at the computer and this thing's just cooking away, oh man, it gets bad.
Yeah. I feel like you started playing Fallout 4 and started having flashbacks of East County and shut it down. This is not the game for me.
They got the ghouls and everything, just like East County.
There is, dude. When I was doing Uber, I went to drop somebody off in East County, and it was at 1 a.m, and it's straight up The Walking Dead out there. It's just crackheads roaming through the fucking. It was scary.
Do you want to buy some Psycho?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, we have hill people.
Wow,
out there. It's
we have hill people.
It's a problem.
We're not painting a very good light.
Hills have eyes.
You're gonna get a dude with 1 big foot and 1 tiny foot at your door tomorrow and be like, "You talking shit about East Valley?"
We got to talk about video games. We have to.
I'm trying to pull it back, man. I keep trying to pull it back to video games.
This is a video game podcast.
All right. Well, let's talk about. First of all, let's give a quick shout out to King Tyron, subbing for 2 months and gifted 5 subs. Thank you very much, man. That is awesome.
Thanks, dude. Is that our YouTube admirer?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Christian's fan.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
loves Christian.
My one
It's his
fan.
favorite.
Woo!
Yeah.
Shout
It
it
is
out.
Christian, actually.
And we got another hot one coming in from Recycled, 49 months. Thanks for the sub, man. That's a hell of a lot of months. He's
Hell
in the
yeah.
lead. That's 49 months is how long we've been doing this. He's been subbing since we've been on Twitch.
Hasn't missed a month.
Yeah.
He,
All right.
he
That's
was he
amazing.
was late one week, but then I applied some pressure, so he came back around.
Give him the shakedown. All right, let's talk about video games on the radar, games that have come to our attention. I'll kick it off. I just got one this week, and it's a card game. It's not a video game, and it doesn't have a name yet. It's the Disney card game. And the article that I read is pretty interesting. They want to compete with Magic and Pokemon. They said that it's
Ooh.
not going to be as competitive as those because they want it to be more accessible for people, but it's going to incorporate all the Disney characters, like everything under the Disney IP. And so it sounds like there's going to be characters involved in this. I wonder how they'll do it. It's by a company called Ravensburger. They've been around a long time, done some stuff. I'm not familiar with them. But that's an interesting idea, and that's pretty brave to say, hey, we're going to take on Magic the Gathering. But Disney's a big IP, and it's got a lot to work with.
You know what I'm thinking this might lead to is we're gonna see like Marvel characters start to leak into it and shit like that.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
expansions for everything.
And Star
Um,
Wars.
Yep.
Why
yeah.
not? If the initial launch is
Good.
strong, yeah, I could see fucking Marvel DLC, Star Wars DLC, and probably it's actually called Lorcana, the trading card game, which is a pretty good name, I think.
Is that
Yeah,
the
it's
name
a-
of it?
Yeah, it's
Disney Lorcana trading card game.
I think that's already a game that's out there, actually, Lorcana. I'm not sure. When I read the article, what's that, Nick?
It says Ravensburg Disney launches Lorcana ship in fall of 2023.
Oh, okay, maybe it is Lorcana.
Sorry, I can't read. It's really small.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if it's any good. But they said that we know card games. It's a it's a long not development on it, but they're made to go for a long time. So we're in it for the long haul. We've already got the expansions planned out and everything. Like it's going to roll out over years, really. So I don't know.
One thing that I've learned-
139-year-old game publisher. Wow.
Damn, that's a
That's
fucking
like
title.
That's like the Atari or something, right?
They invented fucking horseshoe, man. At this point,
They invented throwing rocks at each other.
without the intent to kill.
Yeah. For the person. How about we do the same thing,
Damn.
but we only throw each other's legs? Okay,
It's
got
like-
it.
Oh man, I only have one as well, and it's also a Disney product. I feel like I've talked about this before, but more and more info is coming out about it, and it's finally got its own Steam page. It's a Disney Dreamlight Valley. It's essentially Animal Crossing, but in the Disney universe. It's not supposed to be as challenging, but it's supposed to have more aspects to it. Like gardening can be accelerated and things like that. So you can actually download the Avatar Designer tool right now, but the planned release date is in 2 days. So, I know Leslie's for sure gonna buy this, and then probably like my sister-in-law as well, and all the other Disney people I know. So,
First of all, what's happening to this podcast? I guess we got bought up by Disney and nobody told me. But also, I want to talk about this,
Right?
but also what happened
To comment on that, I think the reason that there's a lot of Disney news is because D23, their big expo, is coming out September 9th. So there's a lot of Disney news right now, a lot of rumors and releases and stuff. And there's going to be a lot more details after the 9th when they have D23.
Wow, it sounds like you are bought out, dude. Right now, it's just that's a third plug. You didn't
Brought to
fix
you
it.
by
You made it worse.
the Disney,
Anyway.
Marvel, and Star Wars Corporation. Thank you.
What was I going to say? Oh, have you guys continued to play Dinkum? I'm just curious.
No.
No. Okay.
It's not it. So the way the controls work are really whack, to be honest. It's like a weird mixture of like you can turn the camera, which is like part of like the allure of the game because Animal Crossing is in one camera angle at all times. But like this one, you can turn the camera and shit, but it's just not conducive when you play it. Like it's like hit the click and then swing and shit like that. So I feel like I'm playing like a strategy game as I'm playing. So I don't know. I
Interesting.
don't like it.
Because you made it sound like it was awesome.
No, it's awesome if you can get used to it. And apparently, like it's like it doesn't take that long. But I'm a big first impressions guy. So since I didn't like it immediately, like just the controls, people learn controls, man. But it's a great game.
All right. Days, are you a Disney person at all? I never hear you talk about any of this stuff.
No, not so much. I mean, I really liked Mulan growing up. That was like the Disney.
Hell yeah.
Was that even Disney? I'm not
That was
massive
Disney. It's
into
my favorite Disney
now.
movie, man.
Because Disney was always like, yeah, Mulan's my favorite too. It was finally like a chick that wasn't like a little dainty princess. Like, it's just badass. I mean, I liked Aladdin as well, but I'm not massive into Disney. I'm bigger into Harry Potter.
Gotcha.
Dude, fucking Vivian is now just like screaming Harry Potter, just Harry Potter
For the whole week, huh?
Yeah,
probably because it makes you guys laugh every time.
Dude, nah, she just really
That's
mimics
true.
anything we say, so we
She's
really gotta
like,
watch what we watch or what should we say.
It's like quicksand, you're sinking. Speaking of sinking, on the radar, I put the Sinking City. It's a H.P. Lovecraft kind of vibe, I guess. It's set in the 1920s in the East Coast of the United States, and you're essentially like a private investigator trying to figure out like where the fuck you are, how to get out, and what's going on. And you keep kind of accessing almost like this loop, like you keep looping back. But it looks so far like a pretty amazing game that initially starts off with like, what the fuck? Like right now we're watching fish that were in a puddle that then gets sucked up to the sky, which is water, and it comes crashing down. And so it just seems really kind of dark and a little creepy, but like a fun game. I'm a big sucker for investigative games as well. Like anytime you're like, figure out this shit, I'm like, hell yeah. So this kind of looks like it, but in an HP Lovecraft kind of world, which is great.
It's like a 2D side scroller, huh? Or it looks, maybe it changes views.
No, I don't think it's a 2D.
Yeah, it looks like a 3D adventure
I
type
think
game.
it changes views.
I remember when this
Yeah.
came out, I was looking at this. It looked interesting. And, they've tried to make a lot of HP Lovecraft games and never quite nailed it. So I had some high expectations for this, and I think the reviews were pretty middling. I don't know. They weren't spectacular, but I don't know. It could still be good.
When were you in the future, and why didn't you tell us about it? This comes out in 2023, Bobby.
I think you're on the wrong page, dude. It's not a 2D side-scrolling game.
No. Yeah, I think you're looking at the wrong thing, man.
Oh,
yeah.
I see what happened. I thought there was. I thought the
26th
Sinking.
of February. Yeah, it came out last year.
God damn, sorry guys. I thought Sinking City, Bramble, the Mountain was all one game.
What game did you just discover, dog?
Well, I had to cut and copy and paste because somebody didn't put their links in. All right, sorry.
I'm sorry. I totally thought I did, but you're right. I guess I did not.
All right. Well, what is Bramble the Mountain King?
No,
let me tell you.
Yeah, let's go right into that next. Yeah, so Bramble the Mountain King. Yeah, is another one that I put on the radar that's coming out in 2023, and this one kind of reminds me of of course, as soon as I say that I blank on the actual game, what it's called. They just came out with it, like My Little Nightmares or something, I think it was called.
Little Nightmares.
Anyway, this is like like a side scroller that Little Nightmares. This kind of reminds me of that in a way, but more of like a druid nature spin of it, or at least more so. It's kind of a spoopy, side scroller, but has different angles of stuff. Like I was first drawn to this because I was watching this little guy like moving through mud, and this like creature was coming out and like trying to grab him, and I was like, oh god, this is intense and this is gonna be fun. It looks really cool. But yeah, you're like this little boy going through trying to find the Bramble King, and you're tiny, and it kind of reminds me too of like It Takes Two. I'm getting a lot of vibes from that as well. But this looks like a very creepy semi-horror version of that kind of a game, but I think it looks cool as fuck.
Graphically, it reminds me of Unraveled. If some people have ever played that, It looks like in
Oh
Unraveled and this
yeah.
game, it kind of goes for photorealism, but like a fantasy version. Anyway, yeah, looks good. I really liked Unraveled, and I liked Little Nightmares. I haven't pulled the
That
trigger
looks
on
pretty neat.
Little Nightmares 2. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, because it's like $30. I think it might be coming to Game Pass though.
That sounds right.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, and this game would probably be perfect on Game Pass as well.
All right, what else you got, Days?
Yeah, what is Bananner
All right, cool.
there?
Oh, well, it's me again. All right. Yeah. So this game, I actually thought of Bobby when I was playing this game because there's a demo out for it, and yeah, it's called the Bananner Bananner Nababber. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's odd. It's kind of like a retro style game, and essentially, like, I guess it's similar to what would you call it, like a Metroidvania almost. You're kind of jumping around trying to kill bosses and stuff and you have different characters. Where yeah, you're moving through the level, and when I played it, it was kind of funny. You're playing different creatures that have different skills. Like I think the first one you play is like Peter Nose Pepper or something like that, and yeah, that's actually the guy showing right now. He's got like a big nose and he just launches stuff, but different creatures have different weapons that you can use, and you're just going through boss levels, and I guess it's a more of a dungeon crawler then, huh? But yeah, it
Uh,
came out on the 13th of August, and I want to say it's free or
Yeah,
it's
it's free.
cheap. I don't know. A lot
It's
of
free.
positive reviews. It's
Looks
free.
definitely looks
It's
for like
pretty
a
tough,
Metroidvania to me.
but it's good.
Yeah, character design's
Mhm.
really
Yeah, it's pretty out there.
nightmare inducing.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I kind of was on like a weird spoopy fucking kick this weekend apparently, like the horror and stuff. I don't know, it's fun.
Halloween is
Uh,
coming up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Days, have you
That's
ever
true.
played the first Little Nightmares?
No, I can't. I am a pussy and I'm scared of scary games even though I'm drawn to them. So,
No, but
Well,
I'm the same
yeah, I
way.
can handle spoopy to a point, but
I'm the same way,
oh,
and
that's true. You and I are both chicken shit.
yeah, and that's like right at my level. That's as far as I'll go. Right there is like cartoons with creepy two long
Oh, okay.
arms and stuff. Yeah, it's right there. So anyway,
Yeah.
I think you can pick it up for 99 cents sometimes. You could probably get it somewhere. I highly recommend it though. It's very good.
all right. I
I'm gonna
guess
try
that
and get it on Switch. I feel like it would be good on that.
I think Days has like a 5 second delay or a
Yeah,
4 second delay.
we have like a correspondent, and they're like, very far away, and they do like the nod before they start talking. That's like,
That is really unfortunate. Shit.
Okie dokie.
All right. Well, let's move on to highlights here because that's it for on the radar games that we did play. So yeah, I definitely confirmed this week that I cannot continue with World of Warcraft. Wrath of the Lich King, the classic, the new WoW Classic expansion that they're releasing, did come out. You can only level up to I think 70, and then on the
Yes.
26th you can fully level up till 80. I jumped back in it, and I thought, I played a lot of Wrath. That was 2008. Sure, maybe this will be like old times. And right away I was just like, oh God, this is rough. And I've never played a WoW Classic game except for like that really short demo at BlizzCon when they announced the original WoW Classic. It's kind of hard to demo that game too. It's so long. But right away I was just like, wow, okay, I can't do this again. But what's really interesting is I've got a friend who is getting into WoW for the first time. I talked about him maybe 2 weeks ago. And the whole plan was everybody was going to get into Wrath of the Lich King Classic when it came out and, run the 10-man raids. And it's really strange because he learned, or he played WoW the opposite way that we all did. He started with retail and then he went back to a classic version. So he has no nostalgia. He's completely unbiased, totally objective here. And he is hating it. He's just like, this is ridiculous. Like, why would anybody play this instead of retail? And like when he asked that, I said, well, and then I reached for something and it just wasn't there. I realized like, yeah, they made the game easier and more accessible, sure, but it's a lot better. Honestly, retail is a lot better. the game has gotten better, but it's still like the nostalgia is super strong with these games, and that's why people play it. That's as soon as I logged in and I saw like the loading screen and like the UI, how it was before, like everything was just like, oh my God, I know exactly where everything is. It was super comfortable. But honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know about classic. It's crazy. And they're doing something weird with the price too. So the game, if you subscribe to WoW, you get classic for free. But they have like this $50 and $60 upgrade, or maybe they're different prices, but they're around there. And they really don't see it's like a couple of cosmetic stuff for your main account. I don't know. But yeah.
I gotta what my guess is, dude, is like delayed gratification and working hard for what you earn, like
Yeah.
that's basically, and that's hard to wrap up and tell somebody it's better because it's harder. Like it's counterintuitive, but I think a lot of people are thinking of that because every time you guys say like, man, uh, old school WoW was so much harder, and you had to actually earn everything you did, and not anybody could actually get to the top. And then I just go to EverQuest, which was 10 times harder than that. And I'm like, well, you kids that played classic WoW don't know what you were talking about because this game was so much harder. And like, yeah, man, it's just like everything gets streamlined and open to more people, and more people like it, but still it's, that's, really think that's what it is. It's delayed gratification that we're missing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's it. It was harder, and some people think that was better because you had to earn it. But what ends up happening is you just get all these add-ons that pretty much make the game similar to retail. One specific complaint my friend had was with questing. So in retail, well, I mean, first of all, the questing is very unclear. In retail, it's very clear. Like you get this quest and it takes you over to this area and it gives you a few quests in that area. Like the chain is very clear, but also it shows you on the map, this is where you go to do this quest. And like the enemies are in this area. If you hover over an enemy, it says like, hey, you need to kill a bunch of these because they drop the thing you need for the quest. None of that in classic. You actually have to read the text in the quest and use your brain to figure it out. But of course, nobody does that. They get the add-on, they get Questy, Quest Helper, whatever, and they just it makes it like retail. So I don't know.
Remember, I think it was late in retail, or late for me in retail, but like you could couldn't you just /run and it would just run you to the next you don't even have to walk there. It'll just run you to the next. I think it was an add-on. It would run you to the next quest marker.
That was an add-on, yes, you're correct.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my God. Why am I even sitting here?
They banned that add-on, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So at a certain point, it's like the game doesn't need you, like what are you doing? You're just like, you're doing just chores.
Yeah.
I think one of the other things that involves like why people like classic so much is, you said delayed gratification, but as weird as this sounds, I think it's like the weird like membrane theory where there's like a barrier between all the try-hard people and all like the really like loose casual people. Because like in like retail WoW, you have so much things to do if you're not like an extreme player that raids all the time. Like you can do the pet battles, you can do time walking, you can do all this other shit that's super easy. But for people that play like old like Wrath or BC or just original classic, I think what they really want is like they know the people that are playing it are going to play it for a while, and they're going to be trying as hard as they can. Because when I played classic, it was honestly more work in the sense of like I'm being pressured every day to play to maintain shit, and I'm like, dude, I can't keep doing this.
Well, one of the big things that they changed with WoW over the years, like daily quests, and what they were doing is throttling the player. They knew the game was just like pure heroin, right? And that people were just getting addicted like to an unhealthy degree. And, people just like either had to cut themselves off or ruin their lives. So they started throttling players with these daily quests and other things. So now when you play retail, like you can only get so much done unless you start up a new character. You can only get so much done per day, per week on your hero. With the old versions of WoW, you could spend your entire life on there. Like,
yeah,
it was just.
there was like an actual economy that was like more valuable, like the current like gold was more valuable than some countries like currency because people were working so hard and shit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. What do you guys got?
Emilio, I want to hear about God of War, dude. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I got a tattoo because of it. Tell me what you think.
It sucks. It's bullshit. I can't believe anybody would like it that. No, um, it's obviously a very good game. It's it's up there with what some of the best games ever made and stuff. Um, I haven't seen anything new. It's a third-person action adventure, but they do It's kind of like um, uh, among or The Last of Us. Like you don't see anything new, but everything is done with precision and done perfectly. The combination of things that they do is pretty cool, though. You have your son with you, and you're on this mission to take the wife's ashes to the top of the hill, top of the mountain, and there's no cutscenes for the most part. There's just banter between them as you go through the game. And Kratos is very rough on his son, as you would think. He's like this badass warrior king, whatever. And he's pretty rough on him. But, he sees his mother in him a lot of the time. And it softens Kratos just a little bit, just enough to like make him second guess what he's doing or change something. He's like, no, we're not going to do that. It's dangerous. And then he's like, why are you doing that? You said it was dangerous. And you're like, well, it's what your mom would have liked or whatever. That kind of stuff happens throughout. So I like that the storytelling is happening from what you're observing and not just like cutaways or text or something like that. It's one of the better ways to tell a story, so that's pretty good. I also go ahead.
There's seamless cutscenes, so like you play and then like you going through something or pressing something will activate the cutscene, but like the camera angle stays consistent, and so like that's how they tell the whole story. It kind of seems like the game is all in one big shot if you don't die at all or anything. So
yeah, it's kind of like that. I still wouldn't call it a cutscene because you're still in control. It's basically a dialogue reel plays. What, unfortunately though, if one of those like any of them get cut off because monsters come out, I'm like, fuck, what did I miss? Like what was he about to say or whatever? Which doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And they did a very good job of like writing a small child. What is he, 9, 10, 11, something like that?
I believe he's 12.
Okay.
Check.
But he does kid stuff still, like he'll be not paying attention and just like looking out at the wilderness, and then Kratos would be like, boy, there's a monster right there. He's like, oh yeah, or whatever, and then he'll like he could get on it, and just like kid stuff. They wrote it really well. There's not very many NPCs. I mean, very little. I've met 3 NPCs. 2 of them are dwarven brothers that hate each other. Their voice acting is, I love it, impeccable. I like them so much. One's a really asshole that can't stop cussing. What the fuck do you want? Yeah, what? Yeah, fucking bitch. He talks to you like that, and the other one's like a little scaredy cat. The dichotomy between the 2 brothers is great. But other than that, I'm having a hard time with the inventory system. I'm probably going to watch a video on that because there's a lot going on there. It's deeper than it looks. And somebody just knocked on the door, so I'm going to wrap this up and let somebody else talk.
One thing I will say about this game is that I think what Emilio was trying to say in the beginning was that there's nothing new. Like you said, it's a third-person action game. I think what they focused on is instead of doing anything new, they focused on doing everything right. That's why I love this game, is that like no item feels useless, no like weapon or armor feels useless. Like it all has a point, and so it's a really fun play. So if you haven't picked it up, it's available on PC now as of like January of this year. I've never really seen it go on sale, but I know they have like coupon codes for it sometimes. So
All right. All right. Who wants to go next here? I've got one left, so I'm holding it.
What
All
about you,
right.
Amanda? Let's cut to
Yeah.
the core.
Reporting to you all from the Rollerdrome, since we've got a little fun, newscaster thing going on here. Yes, reporting live from the Rollerdrome. It is a brawling kind of arena game that takes basically elements from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater with your favorite shooter or John Wick. You get dual pistols. You get all the stylized art that comes in this game. You get sick tricks to get ammo, and you're shooting dudes as you sit there and spin and flip and do all kinds of cool shit over them. It is a very fun game. I have it with a controller. I definitely recommend a controller. I think I first tried playing it with keyboard and mouse, and once they were like, you're gonna hold W, Q, and tap E, I was like, fuck that, I'm out of here. Give me that controller. It's so much easier with the controller, dude. Well, because you can do all kinds of tricks. That's why it's a lot like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Because at first I was like, oh, is this like Jet Set Radio Future, but a shooter? That would be incredible, but not quite. It's a little bit more like, yeah, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but then a shooter element where you're trying to kill everything in the dome and be the last one living, like, yeah, like an arena style thing. And the different dudes that shoot at you, they have all kinds of different ones. There's dudes with guns. There's dudes that are running around trying to chase you in swords. There was a guy that I was fighting that had a grenade launcher. Oh, very fucking annoying. But but it was a very fun game. The music's solid, and it's a cool game. I definitely recommend if you liked Tony Hawk and even Jet Set Radio Future. Like it's got a really cool vibe to it, and it's a lot of fun.
It looks awesome. It looks like a lot of fun.
Such a sucker for cell shaded graphics, and then
Yeah.
they did it so well, and the action looks great. Everything about this looks fucking awesome.
It's really nice, dude. Because yeah, like I said, when you start running out of bullets, you have to do different tricks to it's like to replenish your ammo, and it's just pretty easy. You can honestly just keep like going up ramps and then just slowly spinning, and you'll get like 10 rounds. So you can do that, but you can also do like crazy sick shit of like a backflip and spinning while you're holding your skates. It's really fun, and it's a lot more combo and complicated than I was expecting it to be. So it's pretty fun. It's good. Definitely recommend.
So the more extreme your trick, the more ammo you get out of it, or
Yeah.
any trick. Okay, even cooler.
Yeah, the more extreme it is, the higher points you would get, and also to like the higher amount of ammo you would get, which is fun. And then you kill dudes to regain health, which is cool too. And then
Tell
there's
you what,
different like objectives that you have to do. Like you have to get a certain amount of kick flips or something, and well, not kick flips, that's skateboarding, but like you have to do a certain amount of tricks and shit with your skates.
you know what I'm doing right now is I'm installing this because we have family share.
Yeah,
Brought to you
buddy, you're gonna enjoy it.
Cool.
It's good.
Well, this game is $30 and just came out August 16th, so pretty new.
I had to get it.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that. Back to you, Jan. Way to
Yeah.
lean into that. I really I enjoyed that. That was good.
Well, I didn't say that, but yes, back to you, Bobby. What do you
in
got?
the studio. Okay, so the other game that I played this week was called Rogue Heroes Ruins of Tasos. And this game really impressed me. Some friends of mine that I play Heroes of the Storm with, they were playing it, and they talked me into buying it. It was on sale for like $8, and I don't know what the typical price of it is, but the way they pitched it, it was, what's the Super Nintendo Legend of Zelda game? Link to the Past?
I think it's Link to the Past. Right?
Yeah, okay. It's Link to the Past multiplayer. And, that's my favorite Zelda game. I love that one. I recently played it about a year ago, I think. I played it start to finish on an emulator. So yeah, I decided to check it out. And what's cool is you can make your own character, go out, do quests. They have quests. And you level your character up, you level up attributes on it like an RPG, and then you can take that character and join other people's games. And you can both earn XP and do quests together. It always defaults to the person who's the least furthest along in the game. But it is very similar to Link to the Past, even graphically. I mean, the graphics aren't like spectacular, but the way that they set up like the dungeons and just Like the railing, just like the little things look just like Link to the Past. There are a few things that are different about it. It has that same open world map, but you are gated. You can't go into certain areas until you get like the flute or the grappling hook, which is basically the hook shot from Link to the Past, or the hammer, which they had in Link to the Past. And you go into different dungeons too. When you go into these dungeons, you get gems. And the gems are what you use to spend on upgrades, upgrading your attacks, your health, the usual stuff, which is a little different than Link to the Past. You had some gear in that, but you didn't really level your character up or get to pick like where you wanted to put points into. So that is kind of fun. And it's up to 4 players multiplayer. What's really funny is, so when you, there's like a bestiary. That's like a common term that we all know in video games, right? A bestiary.
Yeah.
Is that from Pokemon? I think that's from
No, Pokemon is like every game, man.
Yeah, it's like in every game. But Pokemon has they call it something out like a Pokédex or something.
Yep, you are correct.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. Okay, I'm not as out of it as I thought. But what's funny, the way you put enemies and characters in this is you get this actual book and you have to go hit them with it. I think just once. But yeah, you gotta book them. But
And then do you? I mean, does that give you weaknesses for them? Is it a good thing to do?
I don't know. I haven't even looked. I think it just gives you information. And isn't that what most bestiaries are? They're just like, this enemy is blah, 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 and a bunch of shit I don't care about,
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
bunch
they're
of
like
bullshit.
or like an encyclopedia of creatures.
Yeah, but like in The Witcher, I think, and then some other. There's a game I'm playing right now. Oh yeah, it's God of War. In the bestiary, the more you fight that guy, you keep putting. It's funny because the son is writing a journal as the adventure goes on, and that's kind of like your menu. And anyway, he writes the bestiary, he draws it out and stuff, and then if you find a weakness, he'll add a note. He'll be like, "Oh, when Dad does this, the monster does this," and then you'll know how to like goad the monster into doing a certain ability. So yeah, they can be useful. 2 things on this, Bobby. If you're level 10 and your friend joins and he's level 35, you have a level 35 guys helping you out with level 10's quests? Is that how it works?
Yeah, they can steamroll through stuff. Now, there's not really character levels, but you can level up like your attack and your health and all that. So yeah, if somebody is like way higher than you, they're just going to steamroll through a lot of stuff and kind of carry you through it. I mean, look at this game. It's not that advanced. It's not going to do whatever they do in games to balance that. But still, it's fun. I mean, it doesn't look like much. This game came out a year ago, kind of slid under the radar. Never heard of it, but it's a good time, man. I'm enjoying it. It's very Legend of Zelda, but you get to play with your buddies, and it's like you don't have to do it completely together. Like you can play it on your own and then team up when you want to.
Well, I will say one thing about Zelda and games of this type. I read an article like some of the things that made Zelda the best game ever made, or whatever. It's like, just like you said, like you need the flute, right? So you'll go up to, or the hammer, you'll go up and you'll be able to see the other area that you want to get into. You'll like see higher level monsters. You might see some loot, and you'll be like, man, I really want this stuff, but this damn bush is in my way. Like, how do I get through this bush? And then you won't know that you need the hammer until you find the hammer, and then you'll be like, I can smash those bushes. And it's just like, it's such a good feeling when you're like, I can finally get over, or I have the grappling hook and I can cross that ravine. It's such a good feeling when you get it, and it's so much more imaginative than a blue key card. You know what I mean? It's like actual thing that you need. And not only do you need, let's say in another game, a wrench, and then you can open the door or whatever it is, you actually use the thing to traverse the environment. It's so much more satisfying than, like I said, like a blue or red key card.
Yeah, it's an adventure puzzle game. A lot of puzzles. And it's got the same action combat too. But yeah, Rogue Heroes Ruins of Tasos. Recommend it. $20 or catch it on sale.
What else do I have here? Oh, Midjourney is not a game. Midjourney is an AI that makes art. I've known about these for a little while. Captain Gummy was the first one. He had subscribed to this bot that you prompt it with text, and it will generate an image based on that. And on Midjourney, the reason I use this one is because it won a state fair competition. Somebody won a state fair competition with an AI generated image, and he did it on this, or they did it on this, and it raises a lot of questions like,
Is that fair?
Is that fair? Is it state fair? It's just kind of, it's weird because it has to be prompted. The AI isn't creative on its own, and you don't nail it on the first try. So I put this link up here, and these are all things that I created today. I was sitting at my computer for like 3 hours doing these. It doesn't take very long. It only takes 1 minute to generate an image. But what it does is it gives you 4 samples of something that you prompt. So let's look at the one. The 2 dogs that are hippies, that was easy. I just put Australian cattle dog, red Australian cattle dog hippie. And so it made that. And there was 2 of the 4 that I liked. I enhanced those. Done. It took me a whole of 7 minutes to get those.
This one has 4 eyes, dude. 4 eyes. That's crazy.
Yeah, because they're psychedelic, man. He's on the shrooms, man.
It's trippy.
I didn't put 4 eyes. This is just what the computer came up with. So yeah, this was all done in like 4 or 5 minutes. The top 3 was Sam's mother. I was like, hey, give me some ideas. So she said like lakeside poppy field with mountains as the background, and then I had her pick the favorite one that she liked, and then you're not stuck with that for one of those 4 samples that you get. You can have 4 derivatives of the one you like and see 4 new versions of the one. So you can continue to do that over and over and really nail it down to exactly what you want, or something crazy pops up and you're like, what the yeah, for sure. And so there's a few other options. I'll get better because I'm seeing people, my prompts are like big dog, and then some people's are like 75 words, and they're coming up with stuff like this model here, this galactic, that's Adriana Lima as a galactic fucking space queen or whatever. The one that's with the helmet on or whatever, that's kind of what came up when I put digital logic, and then like something else. I worked on it a few times. That's like the 3rd or 4th iteration. But I saw people. Oh, this all happens on Discord, and it's almost like a chat room. So you type in what you want while it's working on it. Other people's projects are like streaming by. So you get to do 25 for free. And in those newbie rooms, all kinds of shit's just flying all over the place. It's hard to even keep track of your own work because there's so many people working on different things. And you could see other people working on stuff, which is pretty cool. It's not collaborative, but I can see how I ran out of 25 very quickly. So I paid for the subscription, which is not bad at all. For $10 a month, you get 200 images, which is great. Up to 15 an hour or rather before they throttle you. But I was like, no way I'm going to go through 200 in a month. We'll see. But anyway,
I just thought of like $1 million idea right now. Tell me if it's a good idea. So you use this AI to generate images, right? And so you get like a group of like 8 people, or you can really figure out the nitty gritty. But essentially, what everyone does is it could be like a Jackbox game. Everybody puts in up to like 5 words that work with the AI, and then once that's done, everybody has to guess the words that the other person used for that AI. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know how that's going to generate money.
Sell it to Jackbox, dude. So
sell it to Jackbox.
Call Jack right now. We'll sell it to him.
We were playing Jackbox earlier. Did we put it on the show notes, Days?
No,
we didn't.
No, we were just trying it out.
Yeah. But yeah, while we were playing Jackbox, because I had this on the mind, I was like, oh, they should totally integrate this into the Jackbox games. What else was I saying? Oh, once I paid for the subscription, I went into the big boy channels, and those people were much more sophisticated. Like That's where I started seeing the 50-word descriptions, and the images were just so much more
Refined.
refined. Yeah, yeah. And it's a lot slower. There's a lot less people per room, so I could see how people could be collaborative. Like, you could give each other thumbs up the whole time, but you could probably start private messaging people and working on stuff. But this is crazy, man. It's nuts. This is going to change a lot of things. I started making DLG logos. I'm going to play with it a lot. It's like somebody who's had never had any artistic talent, but have always thought of I've always had a million ideas. This is such a great outlet.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
pretty
it's awesome.
cool. I like the
pretty neat.
idea of being able to use it and then try and painting like what it shows up, because then it would be my own painting, but inspired by AI. Just kidding,
Yeah.
copied.
Yeah. Yeah, but that does bring up that question again, like how much ownership do you have over the image? And I guess completely, right? Because you did the prompt and you did the refining. It's a weird thought. I don't know. It's going to change some things, though. I
I
think
think so too.
the person who won the competition told everybody that it was AI generated. Um, but some people are not going to be forthcoming, and so what do you do with that? Is this going to
I
lower the
hope they
value of
are
art?
though. Yeah, like I really hope that they are forthcoming, because that is really unfortunate for artists, that had to come up with everything completely from their mind, right? Like I think it would be kind of one thing to, like I said, paint what the AI comes up with, but even then, but I mean at the same time, like if you're staring at mountains and you paint those mountains, you're technically copying what nature's already painted, right? So that would be similar in my opinion, but to generate AI and then just copy that image and just print it, that just feels disingenuous, like, in terms of art, Unless
Yeah.
you're, yeah, like, upfront about it, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, "This AI generated it." Then that'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
The first person, obviously, you start thinking about ideas right away. My best friend growing up, he is invested into t-shirt. He does it all at home, but he has a little t-shirt company that he does from home. And I was like, dude, this is perfect for you because he's not an artist. I was like, now you could just come up with whatever you want, make badass t-shirt designs, and just make a bunch of money.
Yeah, that'll be very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Is he the guy that does the merch for DLG, which you guys can get if you go to dlgaming.net, which, then that's where you can find the Patreon or the link to our shop and merch.
God, I know we kept you around for a reason, Dave. God damn.
We also got to get back to moving on with the highlights and shit too. Nick, what you got?
You're muted, Nick.
Sorry, I got to play Cyberpunk. I guess I hit the 0 button on my keyboard. Yeah, so I am no longer stuck in a loop. I'm no longer stuck in like a bug area as well. I did have to adjust my graphics a little bit, but I do like what they've added to the game so far. It was really interesting having to level up right when I started because they wiped all your stat points if you haven't played since like the huge patch came out. Game's still super pretty, runs really well. I haven't seen any glaring issues like I had before where I couldn't move and I couldn't continue the story. I couldn't fast travel. So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing, and if anything super interesting comes, to mind while I'm playing it, I'm definitely gonna mention it.
Nick, so you didn't have the feeling to start a new run?
No, I didn't want to go through the prologue again.
Yeah. Well, you could have done a different starting whatever background and seen the
True.
prologue of the other one. But anyway, yeah, because I feel like I'm going to start from scratch, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not very far in either, though, so that's easier.
I'm like
So,
11 hours. Not 11 hours. No, I'm like 4.5 hours in.
all right. I'm going to bring up Nova Drift again, just because I really want to shout this game out. It is so much fun. This is the spaceship roguelike that's like asteroids. JP Diddy and I are in a little bit of a high score competition right now.
Ooh.
You know, I was like, dude, I got 88,000, and he's like, fuck. Like his top score was like, I don't know, 22,000 at the time. And then he sends me the screenshot of 480,000. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I've been chasing that. And the game keeps changing, guys. Like I've put in I'll take a look at it right now. But I've been playing like a good amount, right? And I am continuously unlocking stuff at a good rate. Like I I I keep feeling like I'm gonna hit the end where like there's no more modifiers that I'm gonna unlock, but every 2 levels there's like a new modifier that can potentially change the game, or a completely different archetype that changes the game completely, or at least the way you play the game. I also thought it was funny, out of all the combinations, of course Johnny and I fell on the same type of build that we like. So I've played for 5 hours, yeah, and I'm still constantly unlocking stuff. I would say if not every run, every 2 runs for sure. Sometimes you gotta have a really good run, and you'll unlock 2, 3 times things on that single thing, on that single run. So not a bad word to say about it, other than the controls are kind of weird, but that's what they were going for. They were going for those original asteroids controls. Yeah, I would recommend this game to anybody.
All right.
Nice.
Nova Drift. All right. Last game. That's you, Days.
Da-da-da! Breaking news. Thanks, Bobby. Coming to you live from the basement of a crazy doctor here. You know, cut to the gore. No, really, camera. Can we cut to the gore? Cut to the gore is the name of the game. It's not a game. You know what I'd say? It's kind of like an art movie piece. You basically load it up. And they call it a kinetic visual novel, which is that it moves from start to finish. You can adjust the speed of the text. I wish there was voice acting, but there's not. But I'm telling you guys, the story is so fucking compelling and just wild. This game is gory as fuck and pretty disturbing and pretty crazy, but done really, really, really well. It is basically in the style of a comic book, and it's a dark, twisted horror like comic book story of this mad doctor and this crazy doctor and this shit that she does, and this whole world of this like tortured artist and shit. It is a very fascinating story, and it is so good. I like started it yesterday, and I got like an hour in, and I passed out, but not from the fucking game. It's from a big gummy. So I woke up and I could not wait to finish this story, and the whole thing takes about 2.5, maybe 3 hours. So it's essentially a movie. Like that's how I would treat it. I would load it up and then sit back and watch it. You're going to be reading a lot, but it's so worth it. If you like twisted dark shit, like it's great.
Were you looking behind your shoulder at all? Was it like creepy in any way, or it was just like watching a good movie or a good?
It was like watching a good movie, yeah, but like a crazy, psycho kind of killer movie. You know what I mean? It kind of almost brought me back to like 80s slasher flicks and stuff. Like it was disturbing what they were doing, but it wasn't terrifying to me. Like it's horror in the same sense that like Hostel is. You know, like it's pretty gory, but it's actually really, really well written. Like it's very well written. I was impressed. I was like, fuck. But the one thing I don't like is I hate when they do this in games, because they do it all the time, especially in visual novels. Like the talking, when they're supposed to be talking, straight up is just beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, oh god, no, just get rid of it. Like just fucking cut it out. Have it be silent, dude. Or like play like, I mean, they do a really good job with the different visual, or not visual, but like the sound effects when things happen. It's kind of like one of the characters like falls and breaks a bunch of glass, and you hear glass break like right at the right moment. So like they do have those moments that are really, really good, but I just wish that they just wouldn't have people talk, because it's stupid. So
I haven't seen this done before. This is interesting, and I got a hats off to whoever put this together, because like, you know, some people are like, I got this story, but nobody will give me the chance, and nobody will read my script, or nobody will be like, whoever put this together was like, you know, they wrote it out, found an artist, and got their story out there, and
it's really good.
and people are gonna like see it, and then you go for that from there. It's great. Like it's awesome. Then somebody might pick this person up for some other writing gig now, or just continue making these if they're successful. Like why not?
I hope so, because it's so cool that they go the comic book route, because it is almost like an art piece in a way. Like it's like an artistic visual novel. Yeah, and it's fantastic. It's on sale right now, which I mean, it started off pretty fucking cheap, but I think it's on sale for I want to say like $2, maybe cheaper. It's well worth it. It was awesome. And I mean, it's cheaper than a movie, and it felt like a very enticing fucked up one. It's very fucked up.
You tell me 99 cents off, I'm like, go fuck yourself. You say 33% off. Now my ears perk up.
That's right.
It's like tell me it's 50% off. I don't bet an eye. But if it's buy one, get one free, I want it.
Yeah, exactly. Days, how'd you find? Oh, because you got a fucked up feed now, huh?
Oh God, my Steam like discovery queue is definitely the crypts and the fucking caverns forgotten about in Steam's huge library, dude. It's the weirdest shit. I'll be going through it and it's like crazy stuff. Sometimes it's just dumb derpy shit. We played the one game, what was it, Cat Pew Pew or something? Like that one was kind of goofy as fuck too. It was kind of bad, but you know, it's like a low design, and you basically just are a cat around with a pointing pistol fingers, and it's like a king of the hill, because every time you shoot somebody it just like pushes them out, so you're trying to push them off of this tower, but I don't know, it landed flat to me.
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
Yeah. So to recap everything we talked about today, on the radar we had Disney card game. It's actually called Lorcana, Disney Dream Valley, Bramble the Mountain King, The Sinking City, which is not one game. Those are two separate games. You're gonna make me say this. Bananner, Nabababber. Nabababber. Then we had on highlights, we had World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King, a classic, I believe. Rollerdrome, Rogue Heroes, Ruins of Tasos, the multiplayer Zelda-ish game, a Midjourney, an AI bot, God of War, Cyberpunk, Nova Drift, and Cut to the Gore. Where's the one? Rollerdrome. I think I'll be playing that one this week.
Nice.
Cool. All right, before we move on to listener questions, quick shout out to NJ Slap, subbing for 1 month. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that. Is that what we're doing now when we get subs?
I don't know.
We need a thing.
I wanted to change it up. I don't know.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. All right, let's get to those questions. We've got 2 of them today. One is from Dirty Harry 2070. In one of the podcasts, Emilio mentioned that he couldn't get into Terraria despite it being an overwhelmingly positive product. Have you got a similar experience with other well-received games? Is there a title you secretly don't like, even though it is a game praised by others? I don't feel like I should have to answer this because, like, everybody knows I hate all the popular stuff. It's a long list for me.
He's like everything. For me, it was Zelda Breath of the Wild. It just really? couldn't stick with it. I know. Yeah. I tried.
I'm 100% with you on that one. Like I never got it. I played it for several hours and I'm like, best game ever? What the fuck?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get it, man.
For me, it's definitely when Valheim came out, I was like, man, this just sucks. I don't want to play this anymore.
How dare you?
Why does everybody love it? And then like when all these patches and everything came through and I actually started playing it again, I'm like, it's not as good as everybody says, but it's pretty fun.
It's okay.
It was weird too for me because I jumped on after you guys had like already built up a bunch of stuff, and you gave us a shack on the coast down the road, and you're like, work on that shit, and I'm like, all right. So like I didn't have the full experience you guys did where you were all working together. You're like, we have portals, we have his and hers bathroom, we have the horse stables, and
we have a death laser that can kill God.
Okay. Okay, I feel like I need to defend myself a little bit here because I started like day one with that. Well, not day one, but I think I was like day 2 or 3 with that shit. Like a lot of us were on different time schedules though, so like a good chunk of playing it was by yourself, and then yeah, we would join up and shit. But we were always close by, dude. You could have just gave a little ring. You're always welcome.
And then she pointed at a pile of rocks down the river, and you're like, "That's your house." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, because
like-
you gotta put in the work. No, you gotta
like-
pay your dues, bro. You gotta pay your dues. We all pay our dues.
I'm a millennial. I need instant satisfaction.
You're like, can I borrow a shovel? She just shows up with a fucking excavator. Here you go.
I was very proud of that portal room. That shit was sick.
One of the top 10 digital wonders of the world. I feel like that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was glorious.
I actually couldn't see the top of it from the top of my rock pile. So yeah, it was pretty impressive.
I just wanted to show you what you could aspire to do.
All right. Next question from Warconius. Did any of you spend much time with the Hitman games? I highly recommend them. It's like a murder puzzle game with lots of humor, tons of replay potential, and trying to kill someone with a rubber spatula. Hilarious.
I played. Was it the demo of the? There's a remake, right?
Well, there's a remake and a sequel to that remake.
Okay. I played a few hours. I feel like it wasn't a demo somehow of probably the remake. I don't think it was a sequel.
I think so. And remake seems kind of weird because it was, I don't know, they used the title Hitman. Like they just went back to the normal title, but it was very different than the other Hitman games.
Yeah, they almost made it's almost like a sandbox assassination game because there's so many modifiers you can put either on yourself or I think there's daily quests that come up. So it'll be like, kill this guy, but sometimes not even kill. Make sure this guy doesn't die. And then it'll be all these like weird things you have to do too. Like, make sure the cook didn't see this one person and find out the information from this other thing. So you'll just keep playing until you find the shortest point between two points, shortest line between 2 points. Yeah, you could keep playing it to advance how well you do again, or you could just make a whole new world and go and do an assassination on a yacht and throw the person overboard. Yeah, it's more of a sandbox. It's crazy how much you can get out of a very finely crafted environment. Like one of them is like a party, like a ball, and like there's so much shit and intertwining storylines are going on at that ball that you, depending on who you have to kill, you're gonna have a completely different experience every time, and that's what they have. It's just this crazy world that you come at from different angles, and every time you come from a different angle, it's a different story. So yeah, I had a good time with it. I didn't continue to play it though.
I haven't played the new ones. I went back and tried to play one of the old ones, but it was too old and I couldn't get through it. But I've always wanted to get into the Hitman series because it's such an iconic series. But to be perfectly honest, the Hitman game I've played the most is Hitman Go.
Yeah, the mobile game.
Yeah. I mean, they have it for Steam, and it's actually pretty good. Lara Croft Go, Hitman Go, all the Go games they're pretty decent puzzle games. They're very simple, but they're not easy.
I unfortunately missed the window for Hitman. I think like when a Hitman drops, it usually drops with a bunch of other stuff, along with I believe when the original one came out, I was just like addicted to WoW, so I kind of missed it. I don't really have.
There's always Hitman games coming out, or at least there were. The ones that they have now, they have a lot longer of a lifespan. They release a lot of updates for them, but they did eventually make a sequel to that new one.
Interesting.
I want to say, yeah, they did. They made a third one, or maybe I'm just looking at. They gave away the first Hitman game, the remake one, on Epic Games not too long ago, and I'm looking on Epic, and it looks like they have Hitman 3 as well, and somehow I have it. So maybe they did make a third one.
Hey, Nicolas, I want to apologize. I was thinking about when we were playing WoW that this poor kid, man, he messaged me so much while I was playing WoW. He would message me every hour on that, a couple times an hour, just like, hey, want to go to the he was lower level. He was like, want to go do this? I'm in the barracks in case you if you want to do something, I'll be hanging out over here. Or hey, in case you forgot my phone number, here it is. And I'm like, just like trying to do raiding and stuff like that. And I'm just like, this fucking kid won't leave me alone. Every once in a while, I'd go visit him and like show him something.
Slash spit,
Yeah,
your character spits on me, you run away on your mount.
I was so mean to you. I mean, you deserved it. But
you know what's the worst part is, like, one time I asked you for gold, and I was like, "Can I have? I just need 5 gold so I can buy this weapon." Which, if you're buying weapons at like any level, and before 60, there's not really a point.
Yeah,
but you were like, "Dude, you're just gonna waste it. Just fuck off. Like, you don't need it." And you gave it to me, and then like I remember just every day, like, "Can I have another 5 more? Can I have another 5 more?"
It was a nephew tax,
and you were like, "Fuck off."
Yeah,
good memories.
All right. Well, that's all the listener questions we have. What's everybody playing next week? I'm going to be checking out Beyond the Wire. We got some copies of that. And I played a lot of Day of Defeat back in the day. Nobody remembers that game. They're all too busy playing Counter-Strike 1.6. But Beyond the Wire reminds me a little bit of Day of Defeat. So looking forward to that. Hopefully there's enough players, though.
God, Day of Defeat is so hardcore, man. If you have you really have to think about firing lines in that game, because somebody prone with a machine gun, you're not gonna get past them. You're not even gonna get close. You have to, and it's realistic, and it's just, fuck, it's so hard to walk down the street. You can't walk down the street in World War II. You can't.
No.
Or World War I. You can't. Anyway. I think I'm gonna play Rollerdrome. Probably gonna be fucking around with this AI thing a lot more. I pay for it. I'm gonna fucking use it. What else? God of War. Like right now, as I'm talking to you guys, I want to play God of War. I realized I kept talking to myself and be like, yeah, it's not that good. And then at some point I was like, I'm having a really good time. Yeah.
I'll most likely be playing that Disney Animal Crossing game, either with Leslie or watching her play it. Anything else, I don't know, to be honest.
I'm probably going to dive a little bit into my weird discovery queue and see what kind of things I discover. But additionally, to more Rollerdrome sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, not what I'm playing, right, Days?
Of course not. No.
All right, guys. I think that is a show. Speaking for Nick, Chris, Amanda, Bobby, and myself, Rollerdrome titties? Anybody? All right. Every single one of you is shaking your head. All right. That's it. Bye. The intro, man. You don't know. He's probably just saying, I guess, the exit song's going on. Yep. I'm stepping all over it.